Hi guys, how you doing? Troy, how you doing, buddy? I almost missed it. I came close. It was like nap time. I woke up now I'm looking at the clock going, oh crap, it's after 8 o'clock. You were supposed to be on at 8, dummy. Almost missed it. I will wait a little bit so more people can come join us if they do. I'm actually going to change my banner. I'm going to add something to my banner. This is something I didn't do before, and Troy, actually, you probably don't have it either. Um, Come on, let me edit this. No, sorry, that one there. Oh, come on. Where's my edit button? There it is. All right, there we go. All right, this one here is wrong on the bottom, so we're going to eliminate that. Come in, grab a new one. All right, now we're going to have one more. All right, there we go. Now we're on. All right, let that one run. Had to add a new one to it. I wanted to add my phone number, and I needed to change the StreamYard location here. That was kind of important. The StreamYard location changes. Every time I come on, StreamYard has a different location where I'm at, and I haven't been changing it, and I should. Every time I should change it, but I haven't been because, well, it's just not there. All right, so Troy, since it's just you and I right now, something you don't know is that, remember that part that Greg, Mike, you and I all worked on all the time we were in Arkansas for the tractor to be able to hook the bush hog back up and make it work? Mike's not going to tell us. I'm pretty sure he's not. He may down the road, but he won't right now. But I'll tell you, I bought the brand new PTO drive shaft for that tractor. It came with a part that connects to that bush hog and connects to the 6 spline on the tractor. If I'd have known, I could have just drove 15 miles from where we were to Boonville, Arkansas, and picked this thing up in Arkansas, right there by where we were, for $120. It never would have seen a hammer. It never would have rode around in the car with us going all over God's creation. It just never would have happened. It would have been just like, hey, put that one in the dumpster. Let me just go get the right one and be done. So I went and I ordered it for him. He will have that either Monday or Tuesday this week. So he can start mowing his lawn again. Good Lord, that grass is all the way up to his shoulders. I was watching him building the goat time, and I was like, dude, you got to get that mower fixed. Those goats can never eat that much grass, ever. Yeah. Yeah, $120. We have, what, 16 hours invested on that thing with all of us working on it? And I'm like, are you serious? That's an awful long time to be working on something that costs so little money. To me, if it costs $120, it's worth 6 hours of my time and nothing more. I get paid $20 an hour minimum. I don't care what I'm doing. Well, I say that. I told Tim I'd go down there and work for him for $15 an hour, but he'd have to pay the 44 hours transfer fee to get me down there and get me back home again afterwards too, because Tim being Tim, Gold Ridge life. But I'd go down and I help him do what he's doing. I mean, that's all easy stuff. Okay, we got somebody else in here. Introduce yourself, please, so we know who you are. Yeah, I told Tim, Troy, I said, hey, I'll come down and work for you, but it's $15 an hour, and I need 44 hours travel time first up so I can make the round trip back and forth, because I figure that's about 22 hours down, 22 hours back to get to Tennessee, this part. And I was like, I'll do it, but you got to pay me $15 an hour for that. I wasn't going to charge him for when I was there. I was just going to charge him for the trip down, trip back. Me being there, that wouldn't be nothing. I'd be there in and out. Okay, we're starting to get some people in. Everybody, introduce yourself so we know who all is here. We got me and Troy, and who else do we have? Who else do we have? I'm not seeing anybody's names popping up yet. All right, so one thing that I've been going nuts on is I was gonna put this out, and I was like, should I? Shouldn't I? No, I'm gonna because it's driving me nuts. I have my retirement through Lear Capital Gold, and Lear Capital came to me very, very highly advertised, very well known. And hey, Barbara McGee, how we doing? Lear Capital Gold came to me very, very well advertised, and I'm like, man, I got to go. I got to go to Lear Capital Gold and just take my retirement out of where it was at in American funds because it was losing money. It lost. When I got hurt in 2021, within 6 months, I lost 50% of my retirement. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I'll have nothing left when I'm done. So I took everything out of American funds and I transferred it over to the Lear Capital Gold. And I was like, all right, well, at least now I know it's in something that has the potential to grow. It wasn't growing at the time because gold was just pretty much sitting still. But hey, Louise, how we doing? And it had time to grow, but it wasn't doing anything. It was losing money, and I was like, all right, well, let's take it out of that. We'll put it into this one that has the potential of doubling in the near future, and go for that. Last week, I got an email from Lear Capital Gold stating we will no longer be servicing customers in New York. And I was like, so what are you saying? I mean, that means nothing to me right there, spitting that off the top of the head. And they said you have to find a new person to do what they call the ADR, which is your adjusted development representative or whatever. And I was like, all right, well, do you guys do business with like American Hartford Gold? No, we don't. Well, American Hartford Gold and I know each other, kind of. I mean, and I was like, all right, well, who do you do business with? Oh, well, we do business with Swiss America. Never heard of you. Don't want to do business with you. And Birch Gold. All right, well, let's do business with Birch Gold then. So I reached out to Birch Gold and I talked to this guy named Gentry Armstrong. And I said, Gentry, these guys said they can't do business in New York anymore. They won't tell me how much money I have in my account. Yeah, Luis, we did everything we could for Mike and everybody while we were there. Everything we could. So anyway, I reached out to this guy named Gentry Armstrong, and I said, look, these guys won't even tell me how much money I have in my account. They won't let me withdraw money out of my account. They won't let me do anything. I can't even touch my account working with these guys. So I need somebody to represent me. Are you willing to do it? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And it's all done through Equity Trust, which is the custodial firm. And I can't sign on to Equity Trust. Since Lear shut down my account, I have not been able to sign on to Equity Trust, period, at all. I have just not been able to do it. I'm just deleting a couple emails that just came in because I don't want to see them anymore. I just can't do it. I can't sign on. So I have a lady from there named Lizette, Lizette Leo or Leopold, and she calls me. I'm not available. I was in the shower when she called. The next day, I emailed her back and said, look, I can't sign on to my account. And then she calls me back and she says, yeah, Mr. Moffat, this is Lizette again calling you. I'm just trying to reach you because I see you're having trouble signing on to your account. Give me a call back. And she left me a phone number. I called that phone number 3 different times. Each time I talked to somebody different. Nobody there know who Lizette is at all, period. There's no extension numbers, nothing like that. And I was like, are you serious? And I got mad about it. I emailed her back and I said, Lizette, this is Dave Moffat calling back. I need you to do me a favor. And she says, well, what's that? I says, I need you to call me back. I need to talk to somebody there because I can't sign on to the account. And without being able to sign on to the account, I can't transfer the ADR over to Birch Gold, over to Gentry Armstrong. I can't do anything with the account. I can't even look at it. I have not heard back from her. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You want business or don't you? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's a huge, large amount, but it's not chicken feed by any means. You know, I mean, hopefully it's not chicken feed. It pretty much was when I took it over to Lear Capital Gold because American Funds ripped me off so bad. I'm hoping it's not chicken feed. It should be a lot better than chicken feed. I would hope, but I don't know. Speaking of chicken feed, anybody that was watching Jen and Wiley last night live, I got talking about my chickens on there. I bought a dozen chickens, and all of them looked exactly the same. As usual, Tractor Supply, 2 died right off the top within the first couple days. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's typical of Tractor Supply. So that left me with 10 chickens. Out of those 10 chickens that all look exactly the same, I've got one to change colors. I have no idea why. They're all like blonde. And this one is black and gray. A cute little crap. I don't care. But it's black and gray. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if that became a rooster? It won't. They're all pullets. But I was like, man, it just changed colors like overnight. Hey, Paul Adventures, how you doing, buddy? So it was like, okay, well, now I've got a black and gray one. Out of my 10 blonde remainders, I've got one black and gray one. I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, so we'll go back into another topic of mine that's not a favorite one by any means. I finally got my truck back out of the shop. It's been in there for, I'm going to say 9 months. 9 months. Easy 9 months. I finally got my truck back, and I am not happy. It cost me $5,150 to get my truck out of the garage. That's a total motor rebuild with brand new catalytic converters, no 2 sensors. The day I brought it home, when I left the garage, it was so low on gas that I had an issue of even being able to get to my closest gas station. I think I've said this before. I got it home and the engine light came on. I had the engine light tested and it came up as being catalyst. That means either the catalytic converters are garbage that were put into it, which were very expensive, or the O2 sensors aren't hooked up or working proper or something like that. And I talked to a lot of people about it, Greg and Gina included, Greg Brink. And everybody said, just drive the truck for a couple hundred miles, the computer will reset. Yeah, no. I did drive the truck for a couple hundred miles, and I will be honest with you, it sounds like I took a whole bunch of wrenches, put them in the bottom of a toolbox, and just started walking down the street, shaking that box. It rattles so bad, so bad. I mean, it is terribly rattling. It went in because the lifters rattled. It came out. I think now it's the rockers are rattling, the lifters are rattling, maybe even the pistons are rattling. I don't know. It had so much work done to it. I couldn't even name all the parts put into it. So now I'm looking at, okay, I've got a car for sale. It's a 2012 Mazda 6. I had somebody asking me today, well, what's the bottom line you'll take for it? And I was like, well, I found another motor for my truck that's $3,202 delivered. I'll take $3,202 for the car. I don't know what he's going to charge me to put it in, but I'll take $3,202 for the car. And they're like, yeah, it ain't worth that much. Yeah, it is actually. It's worth between $4,600 and $7,200. So it is worth that much. But I think I have to replace the motor. And I don't know what I can say about what it's going to do as far as what that's going to do as far as the exhaust problem goes, because that's all brand new parts. I had a guy tell me, well, take it to the Chevy dealership. They'll plug it into a computer and they can reprogram your computer so it accepts those new parts. Well, that makes no sense to me at all. And if I have to do that now, if I replace the motor with a newer motor, because it will be newer. My truck is a 2014 Chevy. In 2008, they had a bad PVC valve problem that was always bad on them. And then 2014, they introduced, excuse me, in 2014, they introduced the automatic fuel management. What the AFM system does is you're driving down the road and 8 cylinders. If you're not pulling a load and you're not going uphill, it automatically drops down to 4 cylinders. And those 4 cylinders that drop out, they stop getting oil pressure to the cylinders, making the lifters go up and down. So the lifters stay down. Wow, hold on. Wow, I was not expecting that cough fit. But the lifters stay down. And when the lifters finally need to go back up again, under oil pressure, they're supposed to start working again, but they've been down so long they stick, and then they don't go back up the way they're supposed to. So I had to replace the lifters. Twice, mind you, twice. And after the first time of replacing them, they failed again. There was only 1 cylinder, and that same set of lifters failed the second time. And I told my mechanic, well, just change the camshaft. And then I was like, well, change the oil pump over there, because you're looking right at it. You might as well just change it. You don't tear anything else down to get to it. So we did that. And it was a ride. Mind you, every time the motor gets tore down, you got to buy all brand new gaskets. It's got to be put all back together to find out it doesn't work properly. Tear it back down, replace all the gaskets, replace the missing parts or whatever, put it all back together, all brand new gaskets again and again and again. I went through, I don't know how many sets of gaskets on this thing. And I'm here with a bucket of bolts right now as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's my mechanic's fault. I will say that. My mechanic was very, very thorough. We went over a lot of things time and time again, of measuring, making sure everything was perfect, right for that truck. Motor, everything was specifically done, measured, tested. You know, there was no steps missed. that I know of anyway. And I was there a lot. I think I was, out of the 9 months my truck was in that garage. I think I probably spent a month and a half of my life in that garage, talking to him, measuring parts, putting it all back together with him, and just going over everything. And we even had to go through the day he pulled it in to get it inspected. He got it to pass inspection. He started it up. He went to pull it out, and it blew a bearing. And he had to pull it right back in, tear the whole motor back down, and replace that one bearing. So, $5,150 later, when the last garage said $4,500 or $4,200 will replace the motor, I should have gone with them guys and just said, "Well, replace the motor." But it has 125,000 miles on it. I shouldn't have to replace the motor. And one of the reasons why I wanted my truck back was the only part on it that's rusty at all are the rocker panels. I've been going out. Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't know if anybody here does body work on their vehicles or not, but this right here came from a company called Eastwood. This is their OEM Select. This is the exact color of my truck. The exact color. I can't have one more can coming from them. I got 5 sitting on my floor right now. I got one more coming. And I'm going to sandblast the rocker panels down because that's the only part of the truck that has any rust on it. I'm going to bring it back to bare metal. And when you bring it back to bare metal, the first thing you have to do is put a rust inhibitor on it. That's the one that's coming. I got 2 cans of that coming. That was about $40 for 2 cans. Once that's done, you want to go back to the outside of the metal, not where the rust is on the inside, but to the outside, and clean that paint back off as best you can with like a Scotch-Brite pad or whatever. And then you want to go over that with a epoxy primer. That makes it so rust can never stick to that metal again. So now it can't rust from the inside because of this one, I forget what it was called. I don't even have it on my email right now. I should be able to, oh wait, yes I do. Let me go back. I just accidentally clicked the wrong button. But where'd you go, Eastwood? There it is. Rust encapsulator. So I'm putting rust encapsulator inside of the rocker panels. That'll stop it from being able to go anywhere further. It'll just lock it in and won't let it go any farther. So it can't go outside of there, end up in the cab corners or go up into the floorboards or anything. It'll just lock it in. Then the epoxy primer goes on the bare metal to make it so the bare metal can't get rust sticking to that anymore. And then you go in with a high fill primer, body filler if you need it, which I'm pretty sure I'm gonna, because they're getting pretty bad. It's been in the garage for a year. And then I've got 2 coats of the jet black Chevy paint, which is the color of the truck. And then I've got 1 can of epoxy clear coat. Actually, out of all of them, I've got 3 cans of epoxy right now. I don't know if the encapsulator is epoxy or not. I'll find that out when it comes. But, we're talking a couple $100 just in this paint and stuff for the truck. Not counting everything I've got in my garage to go in and do the work, including a brand new air compressor, special 70 grit black diamond sand for my sandblaster to go in and clean all the paint off and stuff. I've got an extra roll of this is heavy duty. This is sandblasting vinyl, and this stuff is thick. It probably won't show up too well on camera, but this stuff is thick. Sandblaster will hit it, but it will not go through it. And all of the truck around where the rocker panels are, has to have that put onto it. So when I'm sandblasting it, I'm not taking paint off of other areas of the truck. It's only coming off the area that I want to do. So that's one of my special things that I'm working on. Yeah, I got my It's All Grady shirt on. I missed them this year at the meetup. I wish they were there. If you haven't seen, there's a guy named Hardin Grant, or Grant Hardin. I'm not sure how that works out on the nameplate. He was a police officer, a police chief in Ozark, which is right down the road from where Marcel and Denise are at. He was in prison. He unalived somebody. I have to be careful how I word this because YouTube doesn't like things being said. He unalived a person and he violated a woman. He was spending the rest of his life behind bars. He made a makeshift prison uniform. He just waltzed out, and because the prison is looking for so many new guards, nobody knows who anybody is, and they just assumed that he was one of the new ones that got hired, and he just waltzed on out the door. They actually have him on camera walking out the door. He's got a cart with some doors or whatever on it, and he's just walking out through in his homemade prison uniform, and they let him go. It's not like he cut a hole in the fence or like escaped from Alcatraz, went behind the toilet, put a hole in the wall, and crawled out a little hole. No, he just waltzed out the door. Stuff like that bothers me. Stuff like that says, now I can understand why Gary has a pistol on his side. Mama V always has a pistol on her side. Gary from Simple Life Reclaimed. You don't see it in the videos, but he has a pistol on his side. He is ready. I'm pretty sure Anthony does too. They just don't show it in videos. But he may have it in his back, you know what I mean? He may say, okay, well, great. I don't want to wear it on my side because we're in a video, but let me put it in my back because I'm not going to leave home without it. As a veteran, and Troy, you know this, as a veteran, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And that's where I'm at in Arkansas right now. Better to have it and not need it. I don't know. I live in New York, so New York is so screwed up, it's not even funny. New York is so screwed up that I'm ready to leave the state. Seriously. I've been talking about it for a long time now, and I decided I was going to stay, but no, because Lear Capital Gold can't even do business in the state anymore. I'm leaning more towards I may be walking out. Yeah, I know, Troy. I know, Troy. You do. It may not be legal to have it, but you do have it. And I'll be honest with you, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. All right, so we went through with the It's All Grady situation. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before. There is a new Homestead channel that I've been watching. He's a friend of mine. His name's Jay Bates. And his Homestead channel is BP03 Homestead. And what that stands for is Bates Party of Three. They retired this nice little African girl, and him and his wife did. She was in the army. He was a woodworker. He had a channel called Jay Bates or Jay's Custom Creations. Well, they recently bought land in Mississippi. I think they're on 110 acres or something like that. And they're doing a homestead channel on that. And I'm not telling you guys, you got to go watch Jay Bates. You got to go pay attention to what his wife is doing or what the daughter is doing or anything like that. It's your option. I mean, everybody watches what they want to watch when they want to watch it. But to be honest with you, he is entertaining. He is entertaining. And he has a lot of times where he'll set up cameras where he's over here coming in doing one thing and then he's over here coming in doing something else, but they don't never meet in the middle. And they work together side to side that way. He just has a way about it. I don't know how he does it. A lot of editing is what I can say. But if you want to see an entertaining channel, and that one is pretty funny at times. It's called BPO3 Homestead. It's Debates Party of Three, because with the adopted daughter and his wife and himself, every time they went to a restaurant and they went to go sit at a table, it was always Bates Party of Three, Bates Party of Three, and it was pretty funny because he actually came up with BPO3 Homestead as being based off of Bates Party of Three. Another channel I watch and I really enjoy is Trenton Alley. Trenton Alley live in Utah, up in the mountains, in their regular house. They live up in the mountains of Utah, and they're getting their addition done to where it's ready to move in. They're almost ready to put carpet on the floors. They don't do it. They hire people to do it. They do a lot of work on their own, and they have Brandon, who is Trent's best friend. He works with him in the garage on Trent's garage when it's doing it, but Trent's garage hasn't really done much in a while. He works with Trent in the house doing stuff. They had his nephew Grayson, who was a roofer, a professional roofer, working with him for a while, working on the roof, working on siding, doing all kinds of stuff in the house and stuff. Grayson finally left because, he's a young guy. He's got to get his life together. And they have Trent's sister, who babysits the kids while they're filming everything that they're doing at their house. Grayson was that sister's son, which I didn't know. I thought it was his wife. That's kind of funny. I watch these guys religiously, but Jennifer is Grayson's mother, and I didn't know it. I'm like watching them, and I'm like, I don't know. All right, guys, we're down to 2. It's pushing on 40 minutes. I'm gonna say I really don't have a whole lot more to talk about. If you can, go check out Trenton Alley. They're really great people. They owned a company for a while called Mountain Made Vans, where they made custom-made vans for people to do the living in the vans thing and stuff. They recently shut that down, but they did end up with one of them when they got done. I don't know as though they closed the garage completely down. I think they probably still lease it or own it. But I'm going to let everybody go. You guys all have a good night, and I probably won't see you next week. Oh, wait, no, I forgot one of the most important things I forgot to share. Holy crap. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can see a really, really short video. I think it's 8 minutes long, 7 minutes long, something like that. Of my niece getting married last weekend. That was special. My brother did a really, really good job of going up and talking about his daughter and how she met her husband. I got a picture of her and her brother Scotty side by side. Those are my niece and nephew twins. You got a picture of those two side by side. Then I got a little bit of a video of her dancing with her husband Hobby. And then I got my brother giving his speech, and then him dancing with her too. If you can, just go check it out. It's not a very long video, but go check it out. That was the main reason why I didn't go on last weekend. The main reason. It took forever to get back from Arkansas. And that was my number one plan next, was to get that out of the way. So go check that out. It's a short video. All right, guys. Other than that, I'm going to call this one a night. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you guys. I'm going to say not this next Saturday, but maybe the Saturday after if I have something new to talk about. Until then, everybody have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Later.